just read a news report from China. There's actually a program called the China Report, which is a bit like CNN and BBC, except the Chinese propaganda arm. And so there's kind of a lot of nonsense written in it. And one thing that was in the program today was that they put or built a tiny computer brain. That could take over the brain of a bee and control it, and tell it to go turn left, turn right, go up, go down. You know, to drive a bee, a living bee, is called turning a bee into a cyborg. Yeah. Now, if they can do it for a bee, they can probably do it for you and me. And so nobody seemed to be questioning the morality of this. Yeah. So I want to say a few things about the bee, because the bee is actually the highest living species on the planet, higher than humanity. Think about that. Now in Britain, the oldest, again, I'm going to have to look. I was talking to my lady about this, and she says, of course, communism is atheism and has no God, no Christ. Man can only be advanced with the teachings of karma, the bridge to God and Christ. Karma, the bridge to God and Christ. Jesus was under all other messiahs who taught health of God and karma, the meaningfulness and healing. That is not possible without the recognized consciously love and justice. Adam, they can't do all this without the shown judge by God, judges for their unrighteousness and ignorance, blindness. They need to be judged by God. And how are these people judged by God? I have to do it. I have to judge these people, because the Word of God is what's coming through me. And I have to pass judgment. That's my job. Now, I have a special hat for that, so I'm going to get that. Now, the reason the bee is higher than man is because the bee tells man what to do, not the other way round. Man has no wings, yeah. Man has no wings. I think that man is more evolved than the winged creatures. It's an interesting idea, isn't it? And the fly tells man what to do. I've shown you that in my videos. And the bee has to be listened to even higher, yeah, even higher. The bumblebee is a very, very, very great creature. Lives in very divine places in nature and pollinates mountain berries, things like that. Now, if all goes well with the bee, man gets his fruits, the fruit of the trees. This is like his highest food that he can eat, fruit, yeah. The wood pigeon and the doves cooing there, yeah? It's cooing away. No dog barking here. The dog barks when something's bad. Now, I'm going to talk to you about what I'm cooking in the kitchen. Yeah? I'm cooking pork sausages, right? Let's see if the dog barks. Now, don't the Jews say you shouldn't eat pork? I'm eating pork. And I love the pigs. I love them. I think they're the most wonderful creatures God ever made. Yet we're allowed to eat pigs if we look after them. If we look after the pigs and feed them all our scraps and they clean up, they help us, we help them. If there's too many of them, we can cull the herd a little bit and have a bit of pig meat to eat. That's what I'm eating, yeah, right now. I'm eating it because they were going to throw it out at the supermarket. So I went there right at the end of the day. It was 9:45. Nobody else had bought it. It was sitting there, marked down. So I took it, half a dozen sausages. And that's going to be my meal for a couple of days, yeah. It's good not to waste things. And it's also good to keep the pigs in good conditions. And the Jews got completely wrong because of all the animals that we should be eating. The least one that we shouldn't be eating is the pig. The pig is the most natural source of food for human beings. No, the Indians, North American Indians, used to eat dog. The dog served the same function as the pig in Europe. Yeah, the dog ate the scraps, helped, so on. Some cultures eat horses. Yet in India, they won't eat the cow. Maybe the Jews got it wrong. Maybe it was the cow that they shouldn't be eating. Top 5. Well, some of you might be horrified by that. And you say, what's a holy man doing eating meat? Well, I'm not holier than thou. A holy man is just a more sensible man, I suppose. A whole man, got his brain into one piece. That's what a holy man is. Not holier than thou. And so, for 30 years, I didn't eat meat for 30 years because I thought, you know what I thought. And I thought about the animals, the poor animals. And then, after 30 years of that, I discovered a higher law, that you shouldn't waste anything. Yeah? Everything needs to be recycled. And so, whilst I don't encourage the farming of animals, that I don't know how well they're kept, I will eat meat if they're going to throw it away. I'll eat anything that they're going to throw away that isn't poisonous. I used to eat anything. I used to eat anything even if it was poisonous. And I developed a fat around the middle here because of all the bad stuff in the food. And so I found out that pork sausages are not that bad as far as the amount of poisons and stuff like that in it. I won't eat stuff like salmon, farmed salmon. any fish now. I won't eat any fish now. I used to eat a lot of fish, but I won't eat any fish now because of what I've seen, the way they treat the fish. And so I won't eat any fish now. I won't eat any vegetables now because of what's in them. Yeah. Fruit, I don't eat fruit anymore because of what's in it. The conditions under which it's grown. It's very hard to find anything to eat. So what you saw me eating was my homemade bread and sausage with some Irish butter on it. Yeah. And if I don't eat the sausage, then there'll be cheese on there. That's about it, really. That's about it. Cheese and bread. You can live on cheese and bread. Sometimes I alternate cheese and bread and butter and bread. Yeah. We don't know what we eat until we find ourselves eating it. If I go to the supermarket, I watch what my hands do. If my hands pick up something and put it in my bag, that must be what I'm eating. Yeah. If my legs walk right past the aisle with vegetables in it, so I'm not getting any vegetables. I have the occasional ice cream at the moment because it's hot weather. This is how a holy man lives. At the highest level, I remind you. Now, I've got my justice hat on. Yeah, so this is justice. And it's necessary to respect the animals, respect the humans, respect the DNA, respect the parasites that live on our body, respect everything that lives in the world, on the planet, everything, to respect it all, and not to harm any of it, yeah? And if we need to eat and need to harm something to eat, then we can do that. If we can avoid it, we would. What happens in Europe, where I come from, is that if we keep pigs around us, you don't need to put a fence around them. They just come running to you, you know, they'll just come along and you've got food that they like to eat. They like to eat your scraps, yeah? You don't have to lock them up to feed them scraps. Let them eat what they like. Let them run around. Let them run away if they want to, yeah? Yeah, don't ever chain a pig up. Don't ever make a slave out of an animal. Yeah, you're living together with the animals and then winter comes, yeah? And there's probably not going to be a lot for the animals to eat over winter. If there's too many of them, then it may be time to cull the herd. Now, I don't know because I don't live in that environment. I'd have to see my hands move to know whether that was the right thing to do or not. In the circumstances that the people I was living in together with, whatever that circumstance was, yeah, I'd have to know that. So I don't work anything out. I go from the law of God, which I'm under the divine will of God. If God moves me to do something, it's right. Now, it might not be the absolute perfect rightness that might become in 6 months' time. It might be a higher rightness suddenly appear in the universe. But it's as right as it can possibly be in this moment of time. It's as good as we can get it. And so what that is, the justice is determined by what God does through me. Okay? So if my hands do something, that's the right way of doing it. And so I can inform the younger members of the tribe, if you like, I can inform them of what God's judgment is in respect to how you build your house, how you keep your animals, how you do the water, what you do with the stones, how you go about. Natural technology, yeah. What woods you can use, what woods you can't use. You can't burn oak. Now I know you can't burn oak because if you take a piece of oak and you throw it on the fire, you immediately lose your spirit. Now Jesus talks about this. He said, oh, somebody touched my robe, I felt my spirit go out of me. That's what I feel if I put a piece of oak in the fire. So I know you're not allowed to do that because every piece of oak is useful for some higher purpose than burning. You don't burn oak. Yeah? Now there's people chopping loads of oak and burning it, yeah, and they're all feeling miserable and they're a bit depressed, you know. They don't know why. Well, I could tell them if they wanted to listen, but they wouldn't, of course. Yet, if you have a group of people led by the Order of Poets, Bards and Druids, that's the highest members, and then there's a guild of farmers and arts and crafts people around them, who also are initiated in the lower levels of God, lower levels which are super high levels compared to the people in the world, much, much higher than anybody in Parliament. There isn't a single initiate in Parliament, not one. George Galloway, if he was there, but I don't think he's there anymore. It's necessary to judge man's behaviour, and all of his science has to go. I'm afraid it's all got to go. If it's interfering with nature, which it all is, it's all got to go. And 99.9% of it is all wrong. Yeah? And the sooner man realises this, now I hope all you listen to this video are all agreeing with me. Yeah, I'd be surprised if you're not. If you think that this technology ultimately is benefiting man, the only reason we have this camera here and film and all this stuff is because man made a lot of mistakes, and we need this stuff to communicate those, because we've lost our ability to communicate with the people. Without this camera and this internet and this YouTube, we'd all be lost, because I wouldn't be able to say anything, you wouldn't hear it. Yeah. At least it's recorded, it's on camera now. That's what it was for. That's the only reason men developed the camera, under the guise of God. Yeah. Otherwise, what do you need to make films for? You don't really. It's just a communications device, and you don't need that on the farm. You don't need it. You don't need to record, unless the farm's going to go away and you need to record what it was, so that when it comes back again in 200 years' time, people will know it, like their book that they wrote about the farm in the 1970s. And so, in every time we're learning something important, what we're learning in this time is what I'm telling you. This is the important stuff that we're learning now, and it has to be preserved for future generations. So everything I'm doing is for the children of the future, not so much for this time that we're living now. This time is the best time for it to come out. The same as Krishnamurti's teachings was the best time that came out. You know, nobody would do what Krishnamurti said. Nobody would do it. There's a dog. Krishnamurti said just what, same as what Jesus said. Jesus says you have to do it, you have to walk out. Krishnamurti said you have to do what I'm saying, you have to stop thinking. Stop thinking you're something, yeah? Get with the program, get your brain in order, yeah? And no organisation of anything. Now they made a whole order called the Order of the Star in the East, I think it was called, and they were all listening to him and they were worshipping him, you know, look at him and just, oh, come on, just talk to us. And Christian would say, no, you Mark, you won't do what I say. You won't do it. Do the work, do it. Now, he didn't know why they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because they hadn't been called to do it. You've got to be called by God. So it wouldn't have been beneficial if they'd all suddenly got enlightened in that crazy world then, didn't even know what enlightenment was, and suddenly there were thousands and thousands of people all enlightened running around disturbing the universe. Yet that's what happened in the 1960s, part of the 60s revolution. You saw how disturbing that was for the world and how that didn't last, and all of the leaders of it were all, well, they died, didn't they? Probably the work of the CIA or something like that, you know, get rid of the icons of the 60s. But they all went out all at the same time. And that was the end of it. You had Altamont, and then the 60s were finished. Yeah. It was a very bad time too. It was a dark time. Yeah. There was a lot of dark people, drugs. Yet mankind was subjected to a learning process. You know. And that learning process has its fruition in the Book of the Farm. The Book of the Farm. That was the highest product of the 1960s movement. That's what we have left of it. That Stephen Gaskell? Stephen Gaskell's Farm book, the fruit of the 1960s movement. Make sure you download that and look at it. Now, this video is not an isolated video. This video is a series of videos. This one I think is video number 41. We've just finished 40 this morning and we're doing 41. And it's a complete thesis. It's a one work. It needs to be watched in sequence from start to finish, preferably. Each video is self-contained, so it can be taken a bit at a time. Yet the concepts are based on what's gone before, and we're up to video number 40, and I'm assuming that everybody's watched the previous videos so they know what I'm talking about. When I talk about the order of poets, bards and druids, that you know what that is. Not some idea in your mind, but I've actually defined it exactly what that is in the opening video. Video number 1. So if you go to the playlist and start at video number 1, that would be a very, very, very good idea. And God is judging you on that. If you can't be bothered, well, you're not doing what you should be doing, are you? And that was the trouble that Krishnamurti had, the trouble that Jesus had, is that the people like to listen, but they didn't do the work. Yeah, to do the work. It's necessary to do the work and to take the journey, to walk out into the world, to take that journey. Who will do it? I did it. I did it. To become a monk. That's what I was becoming when I hit the road. I had one book, the Dhammapada, the book of the Buddha. That's the only book I carried on my journey. And that was a great book for me because it was a book of how to be a mendicant monk, a Buddhist mendicant monk. It was just good advice, yeah, the Dhammapada. The way of truth, the Dhammapada, the way of truth. Dharma is the way, Pada is the way, Dharma is the truth, I think. I'm not a Sanskrit person in any way. That's how I understand it anyway. And so Krishnamurti disbanded his own order, the Order of the Star of the East, because people were not doing it. They were worshipping, they had all these silly ideas. And so it's necessary to get rid of all that stuff. All religions are false, every one of them. Yeah? The natural order of poets, bards and druids is a reality. It's what's happening to each one of us in the moment. There's a commonality, there's a theme to it, which we either experience or we don't experience. If we don't experience it, we didn't experience it. It's not real, yeah? If you haven't had the divine couple initiation and you never have it, well, for you it doesn't exist. Don't go telling people that it does, what it might be like, yeah? That's why these videos, this time, the teachings are coming by video, because you can't change the words that I'm speaking. Not easily, because my mouth, you see my mouth move at the same time. They did that. They changed the words of the masters, yeah. So now it's recorded from the mouth, and so there's no argument about what I said or what I didn't say. In 300 years' time, people will be listening to this, what I'm saying. So you lot are just the start of it, just the start of it. And there's not going to, even if just one of you takes a journey, that might be all God wants. At this point in time, yet, we might have 1 million in a year, who knows? I mean, God knows the plan. There can be no plan except God's plan. God's plan operates on the basis of karma. Yeah? He creates the fruit of the new age, the masters, the divine couples. He creates that at the same time as he destroys the old order. It's all the work of God, all of it. And you'll find yourself in one place or the other. Now, if you don't do the work, like those people in the Order of the Star didn't do the work, they just got left behind. That was the end of them. Krishnamurti moved on and left, and they never went to any more meetings after that. That was the end of them. And then God took them down some other pathway, yeah? Maybe into World War II, culled a lot of them off, ones that weren't good enough, yeah? So God will get rid of you. If he gives you a chance and you don't act, you hear the words and you don't understand the significance and the importance of it. If you do that and you don't act, well, you can't expect anything but karma that you're not going to like, yeah? And there's a very bad world coming. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that karma. If you're young, you could end up in the army in the Ukraine, couldn't you? Or in the Congo. Or, yeah, what's going on in the Congo? Or in Tibet, fighting the Chinese, yeah? Or the island of Taiwan. Or in Syria, somewhere like that. Could end up anywhere in a war. There's so many wars just starting out now, just ready to suck you all in. So it's time for each and every one of you to decide whether you are going to be part of the problem or whether you're going to be part of the solution. Okay? The solution is the natural order of poets, bards and druids. That is the solution. And you can also be a craftsperson, a guild member, a master of some art, before you become a bard or a poet or a druid. You can be that before. You can be enlightened by Krishnamurti and still doing your work in the world. That's what Constantine the Great did. He didn't take the initiation into the order of poets, bards and druids until he was on his deathbed, because he knew as soon as he did that, he wouldn't be able to be that king, that emperor, because that's a job between the church and the world, between the order and the world. Okay, and so he left it as late as he could, because you've got to give all your wealth away. You can't have anything to get to that higher level. And so some of you won't do that. Some of you will be the people of the guilds, and some of you will be in the order of poets, bards and druids, the highest guild, the guild of philosophers. And you'll all be on the farm together, yeah? You'll all be on the farm. There's a place for all on the farm. There's the main library. The library, like, what this is my library, yeah, I've got a computer, a few books, that's all. A camera, video, stuff, that's the library, yeah. Surrounding the library is the blacksmith, the carpenter, so on. And then surrounding them are the farmers, yeah. And that's it. That is the farm. Well, that's where the video chopped off because the battery went flat. And it's probably just as well the mistakes are the best part, because I kept my hat on, the lawmaker's hat on, for too long, and so what I said to you, you didn't need to hear. It was too much. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to say something else. I did have a go at this once before at an organised, it was called the Utopia experiment. And I had another go at it before that, which was not organised, which was much better, which was called, it was a Mansell Gamage yurt community. Their mission was to bring yurts into Britain. This was before there was any glamping or anything like that. And they did a good job, yet there were some corrupted individuals involved in it, so it wasn't perfect. Yeah, I left it and went to the Utopia experiment, which was even worse. You should always stay with the first group you put with. I made a mistake, really. I made a few mistakes, but the mistakes are the best part. So I learned that about the group. You've got to stick with the group that you're naturally placed with. Yeah. If you're meant to come out of a group, the devil will say, "You got to leave, man. It's time to go." You'll get a message from the devil, and just go then. Yeah. And, you've got to be true to your group and not think that your bread and butter is bread is buttered better on the other side. Yeah. It's just bread and butter, and the first slice you're given by God is the right one. Same with couples, groups and couples, the same thing. You get one lady, that's your best lady, and if you get rid of her and get another one, they're never going to be as good as the first one, and they're always going to be more and more difficult the further you go down the track. And I'm sure you've all had that experience. You say, "Oh yeah, I resonate with that. Yeah, that's right. I got rid of her, and then I got her, and she was twice as bad. And then I had her for a week, and then then I was without anybody for years before I got another lady." Yeah. You do the dirty on your lady, the next one's going to do the dirty on you pretty quick. You're going to be without a lady for a long time. There are many steps on the journey, many mistakes you can make on the journey to and through the divine couple, many mistakes, and the mistakes are what you learn from. And we all wish that we could be there sooner than what we are, yet if we look back on our life, everything was perfect, even the mistakes. We would never have learned all the things that I've been able to teach you. I would never have learned except how to make all these mistakes for you. And if you listen to what I'm saying and understand what I'm saying, God will still test you, still put you through the test. You'll have to do it after I say, but you will only have to do it once, maybe twice. And you won't have to go to the end of it and lose everything. You say, okay, I see, that's right, yeah, that's right, that's true, that's the truth, that's a law, that, yeah, I can see that. And then God will write it into your brain and you'll never have to think about it again, you'll just do it automatically. And that's how we learn. And it's easier to learn from others, if you can, than to have to find it all out by trial and error, like I had to do. I had to find it out by trial and error, the couple journey, because it's never been taught before, not really. And so these teachings are part of the couple. I have other couple teachings. When I say I mean I, Adam, I have light, which is my lady and myself. We're one. You know. There is another channel somewhere on YouTube about the couple journey. Some stuff that I did years and years ago in Germany about the baby steps through the couple journey. I'm really talking in these videos to people who've already kind of got through to the couple and now they've just got to keep their couple. Yeah? And that's what this video is about, is not to think that you can get a new lady. You can't do that. If you and her were a divine couple, in other words, if you both loved each other, God will never separate you forever, always bring you back together again. You may have to go apart for a long time, maybe even a year or two. You will always come back. There are bigger and bigger tests of being apart, the further we go down the pathway. Yeah? I'm lucky to see my lady now once a year for a few weeks. This year, maybe I get two visits in a year. That's really amazing for me. Normally it's only one visit, one. We only come together for a short time, once a year at the moment. And it helps me to do the work. It gives me time to do the work, these videos and artwork that I do and so on. In the past I've done poetry and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. In Germany there's a lot of stuff. Yet it seems to be a summation, these videos, the Natural Order of Poets, Bards and Druids, this series seems to be a summation, like a summary, and it's probably all that most of you actually need. And we'll see where we stop. We're on to video 41, I don't know where it ends. I've got work to do. Yeah, this is my most important work, so we have to go until the videos stop. I'm supposed to be going to a blues festival on my motorbike on Friday, and it's Wednesday today. And I was hoping to do a service on my motorbike before I go, but it's not necessary. So we'll just wait and see. Yet I won't be servicing my motorbike except on a beautiful, perfect day, not too hot, not too cold, no wind blowing, nice time to mess with the motorbike. No dust blowing around. It'll be perfect when I do it. And I won't feel like doing it until my hands move, and then it'll be full steam ahead. That's how I do everything. Thanks for watching.